Hey guys, welcome back to Glam Finds, and I'm here with another fragrance review. This is a cheapie review. This is one that you guys decided that you wanted me to bring to you first. So from the House of Rochas, it's L'Homme Rochas. And in case you guys are wondering, this is a tester bottle, so it was pretty inexpensive, and I'll talk about the cost of it at the end. But right now, let's talk about the notes. Top notes, you have blood orange, pineapple, and cardamom. Mid, juniper berries, geranium, and basil. And then base notes, tonka bean, patchouli, and moss. So, this is a fruity fragrance. However, I feel like you still get the spiciness from the cardamom, and you're going to get that juniper berry in there. The tonka is present, and I personally do smell the patchouli, but to my nose, it is a little bit out of place. So it does have that blue fragrance vibe, but it's sweeter than most of the ones that I have. I feel like, I'm not going to say the sweetest, but sweeter than most of the ones that I have. And although I like the spices in here, I think a lot of people say that because it has the juniper berry and some similarities to Eau de Toilette and a little bit the Eau de Parfum, they liken this fragrance to that. And in my opinion, I have KEDT and a decant of I have KEDP and a decant of KEDT. And I don't necessarily pick up the similarities. To me, this is actually sweeter and not as fresh as either one of those. So this is a pretty dense fragrance, and on top of that, I actually find this to be more screechy. So to my nose, and it could be because it's summer, so my allergies are slightly more kicked up than the rest of the year, this comes off more synthetic than those two fragrances. Somebody, or I guess people on Fragrantica liken this to Cool Water Intense, and that comparison I see. Now that one is a creamier one, but the sweetness in that one and that kind of more synthetic tinge to it, that's comparable to this. So I think that the way that they use the orange in both of those can be comparable. And on top of it, I think that the way that the coconut sweetens that fragrance is the way that the tonka sweetens this fragrance. So I can totally see those similarities. This is, to me, more of a sweet fragrance than a lot of other blue fragrances. So I think if you're someone who doesn't really like blue fragrances, this is not standard. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about why. So yeah, it has kind of the fragrance backbone of a blue fragrance, but you have tonka in here and you have patchouli. The oak moss isn't super prevalent to my nose, but I definitely smell the patchouli and I smell the tonka quite heavily. And again, I get the spicier notes as well, and the fruit and the blood orange, but it doesn't really come off like a blue fragrance to me. That's why I can't really say that it's similar to KEDP or KEDT. At least not to my nose. I'm saying to my nose. You can have your own experience with it. My friend Tammy, at Tammy Loves Fragrances on Instagram, she bought a bottle, and she's the one that encouraged me to buy a bottle. She does not like fresh fragrances. I should have immediately thought, weird that she likes this blue fragrance, even though she's not the biggest fan of blue fragrances. Now, has she said that a blue fragrance or two has smelled good on me? Yes. Nothing she would buy, though. So I think that the difference is this is a sweet fragrance, and if anything would tell you this is a sweet fragrance, it's people that don't really like blue fragrances like this fragrance. So again, it's not a bad fragrance, but the syntheticness is a little bit more than I prefer it to be. And it's not that it's bad, but I get kind of a similar headache to the one that I get from Sauvage. That screechiness, something in this doesn't sit too well with me, and it's not every day, but some days the risk is a little bit too high for me to regularly wear it. Performance-wise, though, this one threw me off a little bit. For the first couple of hours, I get good projection. However, longevity, I'm usually sitting at the 7-hour mark. Maybe a little bit more, but sometimes also a little bit less, because I have worn this multiple times because I wanted to be very fair with my review. So performance, I would actually say about average, but projection is above average the first couple of hours. Again, typically, if you're average in one area, you're going to be average in the other. But no, I do feel like the projection is a little bit higher in the first couple of hours. Who can wear this? I'm going to go ahead and say that this is pretty unisex because, yeah, sure, it's a blue fragrance, but it's sweeter. And I feel like that gives it more of a unisex tinge. Masculine skin, if your skin makes things more masculine, then yeah, it's going to be more masculine. But if you have skin that sweetens things like my own, this is going to come off a little bit sweeter But I will also say this, someone who commented on this fragrance when I was wearing it said that this did come off masculine, but it's been a real mixed bag when it comes to fragrances and how they come off of my skin. And honestly, in the opening, I think maybe because it's sweeter, maybe it comes off more unisex, and then as it dries down, it goes a little bit more into that masculine area because the sweetness tones down a little bit. And I'll also say this, in the dry down, this becomes a lot more wearable for me. The opening is what I have the hard time with because that's what's screechy and that's kind of what gives me the headache. I don't mind the dry down at all, especially when it doesn't project as much. In the first couple of hours when it is projecting, I am not the biggest fan. And I wanted to really love this one because I love K-EDP and EDT and pretty much every blue fragrance. I just don't do particularly well with Sauvage because, again, that one does give me a headache. Luna Rosa Carbon, great. Sauvage, still can't really pull that one off without getting that headache. But if you're looking for a more mature fragrance, because of the sweetness in the opening of this, I just can't imagine this being a good place for you to look. But if you're looking for something youthful that does project pretty loudly for the first few hours, this may be what you're looking for. Where you could wear this, it is a Swiss Army knife fragrance. So yeah, I don't necessarily think that it's a necessarily blue fragrance across the board. I mean, I guess in the dry down, it leans in that direction. But I think you could wear this pretty much anywhere. I would not wear this in high heat though, because it has not done particularly well for me. Maybe you would, but because of that screechiness, I'd be a little bit more cautious. Summer evenings and then the rest of the year, spring, fall, and winter, I think you can wear it day or night. I wouldn't dress it up. I would wear it casually. I would even wear it out to a club at night because I feel like it is pretty loud in the first couple of hours and it's sweet and it is going to draw people into you. So season-wise, I would say year-round, just be a little bit careful in the high heat. This is really just a throw it on and go fragrance. So in terms of occasions, I don't want to give you a definition of exactly when you would wear it. You could wear it with anything. I just wouldn't wear it with anything that's too dressed up. Compliment-wise, I mean, I didn't really get any compliments with it. It doesn't mean that it's not going to get any. And to be honest, maybe if I was around more people for some of the times that I wore it, I would get more compliments. But this, even if it did get more compliments, is not something I'm going to reach for. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am going to get rid of my bottle because I don't want to risk spraying something on that might give me a headache. And it might not give me a headache, but so far, I think all 3 of the times that I've worn it, I've gotten a headache. Now, the 3rd time, I got less of a headache. But that doesn't mean that there wasn't a headache. And for me, it's not really worth it, especially because I really don't care about this DNA. I would much rather actually wear K-EDP, Dylan Blue, Polo Blue Gold Blend, even Prada Luna Rosa Ocean, which I don't love that much, Bulgari Aqua Atlantique, pretty much any of the blue fragrances that I own, which I own a good amount. Narciso Rodriguez, Blue Noir, EDP, anything, any of those, I would reach for over this. And although I was super excited about this, it's just really not a love for me. And I feel like I'm at the point where I'm not going to keep a fragrance that isn't a love for me because there's no point. It's just never going to get worn. It's going to get lost in the mix. But price point, I got this tester bottle with a cap and everything for under $30. So for most people, this is going to do really well. And I think 99% of people would actually really love this. It's not a love for me, but again, I do have allergies. So there's a handful of fragrances that I just really can't handle, especially in summer months. This is one of them. And because I have so many things in this genre, I mean, I didn't even mention this YEDP, Latafa Fakhar, Tarathi Blue. I have so many. It's just not worth keeping to me because it's just going to collect dust, and I'm trying not to keep too many bottles that collect dust. If you have tried this fragrance, comment down below. I feel like this is an important one to comment on if you've tried, because I think a lot of people have probably done really well with this fragrance. I just have a nose that is slightly sensitive to certain synthetic molecules, and I don't know exactly what it is, but this just isn't my cup of tea. Let people know what you think, your experience, performance, compliments. I think that's going to be really valuable because I do think that this is a fragrance that most people would like. Just because it's not my thing doesn't mean it's not your thing. As always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to like this video if you liked it, be subscribed to my channel. Hit that notification bell to get notified when I drop a new video, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye!